the real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially free so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club. Revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.
Welcome to the future of trade shows, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, and your booth isn't just a space, it's an experience. In this digital era, trade shows aren't just confined to physical spaces anymore. We're introducing a game changer, virtual reality. Picture this, a trade show on steroids infused with the magic of VR. We're taking the traditional, stirring in innovation, and serving up a mind-blowing experience. Virtual reality isn't just a buzzword. It's the secret ingredient that's transforming trade shows into global, digital spectacles. Your audience isn't restricted by borders, they're connected, engaged, and ready to be wowed. We're not just presenting, we're creating experiences. Your products won't just be seen, they'll be felt, experienced, and remembered. Connect, mingle, and make business happen all from the comfort of your office chair. So, are you ready to join this exhilarating journey? Stay tuned for more as we dive deeper into the wonders of crafting immersive virtual environments that'll make your brand the star of this digital story. Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audiobooks and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
Hey guys, Nicole here with another Pain Point podcast. And today, my guest is Adrienne. Hello, Adrienne.
Hello, Nicole.
A good friend of mine that I've chatted with and met at a few networking spaces who offers these amazing online solutions. And those of you who aren't familiar with it just yet, you will be soon. And the Pain Point podcast brings business solutions, online business solutions to your pain points. And that's basically where we're going to start today. But I'm going to start with a little bit of a journey. So Adrienne, share with the audience who you are, because it's best said from you.
I thank you for asking me, Nicole, and it's a pleasure to be on Pain Points. I am a recovery advocate who just so happened to start a recovery residence community with my husband, Jim, 15 years ago in our hometown of Delray Beach, Florida. At one point, we had 72 souls, over 10 houses. And now we have 3 homes, single family homes with 15 men in it. And our online program, Recovery Comes Home.
Thank you for sharing that, because the importance of this, and folks, if you don't see how this is affecting people in business, to recovery, to sober up, to get in the right frame of mind. And it not only does it help you, it helps you in your home life, but it also helps you during business times, right? We all want to feel better, look better, be healthier, know and trust. And if we can't know and trust ourselves, who's going to know and trust us? Nobody really wants to get to know you, and nobody will trust you if you're in such a state of mind where you can't function, or addiction starts to affect your job, your work, especially, hey, me, I saw a lot of it growing up in the 80s. The addiction, cocaine era, right?
That was the beginning of it. Yep.
Big people the Wolf of Wall Street, we all know, it's a great movie. Hey, that guy will tell you himself. He had issues with drugs and alcohol. And yet, you know what? It affected his life so bad. But now he just is able to share business and share friends and family. So how different are people when they walk where they're supposed to walk in life spiritually and move forward and take care of their temple? And that's very important, to be able to resonate with yourself. And those of you who don't know, it's affected me and my family growing up with my father, people that I've dated. And also, unfortunately, I've lost my daughter to addiction. And so part of my focus in life is to share the steps anywhere that can help people achieve their goals. And you can definitely do that through recovery. And the caveat today is in the Pain Point podcast. Where does this work with a pain point? Obviously, you have a pain point that you're trying to hit at the end of a bottle and drown away, drink it away. And that doesn't help. You can't focus to that. It comes out in your business. It comes out in work. Hey, when I started networking, a lot of those networks were cocktail parties. And yeah, people were making business connections, but they were horrible connections. We couldn't get people to finish the job. We would pay people in business, your real estate broker, or you're buying a house, or you're making these deals, which all seem great and glorious, hey, on TV, but really you're not getting your bang for your buck. And you cannot continue a long-term relationship. Not for everybody. Let's address that issue. We're here with Adrienne today. And Adrienne has this great point of what she wants to represent and share with us today is really that solution that she's going to bring online, because we have Zoom these days, we have groups these days. And what can you do online to help that? Not only her podcast for Recovery Comes Home, that's an online solution, sharing people steps of recovery or journeys or stories. But Adrienne, tell the folks, everybody, about what you've moved to help people and bring them on online solutions.
It's funny you say that, what I propose to people, because it got thrust on us like the rest of the world. 2020 was trucking along and people were going to their meetings in person. They had AA meetings, they had NA meetings, they had CA meetings. By that time, we had Smart Recovery. I know Celebrate Recovery was around. I'm not sure about Recovery Dharma. But the point is that there were many outlets that people had to meet. Part of any program is the consistent meeting of people. It's hard to get better in isolation, in a vacuum. You need people around you to say, you know what, Adrienne, you're acting like a real killer jerk right now. So during COVID, everybody was shut down. We were an essential business. Treatment centers were essential businesses. So we never stopped working. But the way that people were recovering changed, because they couldn't go to meetings outside anymore. All of a sudden, Zoom blew up, right? Remember, it was Skype and Zoom.
Oh gosh.
And then the pandemic happened and Skype who? But Zoom really did a good job on the ball running, right? To get these meetings up and running. People would utilize that platform and still utilize that platform to bring meetings into people's homes when they couldn't leave their homes.
It's an integral part of our lives now. Zoom. We're using Zoom right now, and I use other virtual platforms, but it's just it's an easy tool for us to use, and we're accustomed to it. So sometimes you just want to meet people where you can, where it's easy, and traveling around, you can use Zoom. And now you can have it on your phone. You got a little app on your phone. You can travel around the world and use Zoom and meet and grow. And that's how we met. We met on Zoom at a networking event and sharing what are our tools, what are our gifts, getting to know one another and sharing that. And having been to some of these meetings, and it's a little bit difficult online sometimes when you go to these things, but it's even harder when you don't have a group to connect with.
That's
when
true.
when you don't have your tribe, or sometimes you can just show up. And hey, you know what? If you're in these meetings, you can turn off the camera if you're moving around or doing something, but you can at least listen. And that's so important. How has it changed people to say that, hey, I'm running a business, I'm traveling, and I want to just get on Zoom? Or people really adapted to this type of programming?
I think they did remarkably well adapting in the beginning. Treatment centers started using Zoom for their meetings. And to be clear, the average age coming out of treatment is 24. So that's on the low age for our population. But I'll tell you, the older people did come along and started to like the meetings. I think they had a feeling in their mind that they wouldn't be able to make such a strong connection over Zoom like they would face to face. And I think once they tried it and they saw that energy does transfer, in fact, from Zoom to Zoom room.
And you know what? That is true. It does transfer. And as a person who does Reiki and frequency, and that's part of my business, and I implement that on a soulful level to really align that with my business to help my customers really stand out and shine. Is how do you show up on Zoom? How do you show up on a virtual stage? And even in virtual reality and moving to those types of stages, I find that it's been there. I grew up in Silicon Valley in the 80s, so I'm very familiar with these technologies that are moving. No, I can't name them all. I don't care to name them all. I don't want to name them all because not necessarily will they all be there tomorrow, and technology changes so quickly. The great thing about this is it's anywhere, everywhere, and for everybody. And watching people adapt to what they do with Zoom. And you don't have to get in the car. Half of these meetings, I've seen people just talk themselves out of just going to a meeting or connecting with someone because they don't want to be there. They don't want to get up. They don't necessarily want to shower. They won't want to there's so many excuses just to get into the car and go to a meeting. But talking with you over the years to see this, and even popping in and out of a meeting when I had a chance to say, hey, I can be and connect with the community of people. And you and your husband you're there. You're always there. And it's a homey thing because there's a comfort zone. There's a space that you have created for people, and you allow people to come as they are. And that's so huge because when we use Zoom, even though we're putting on our best good shirt and doing our hair, we still have to show up in a certain place, in a certain mindset. But here, coming into this point and seeing how you've changed and grown into a podcast, and even speaking and doing virtual summits, how has that helped your business, or just even helped you on your journey to be able to adapt and grow with that?
I think it allowed me to step out of my comfort zone a little bit more. I continually pushed myself. I had trouble getting on camera for a lot of reasons, but I carried on that voice in my head. And when I realized that it was me now telling me, because I'm an adult after all, then I started to reprogram what I was telling myself. And that's really so that's the meeting that you were talking about that you've been to of ours, is the Family Lodge group. And that's for the residents of the lodge at Delray Beach and the clients of Recovery Comes Home. It's for their families, because When you're struggling with a loved one who's addicted, you can't say to the mani-pedi lady, yeah, my son's snorting meth again. You just, who do you talk to? Where do you go?
You
Oh,
don't.
you pick somebody at the grocery line? Do you call one of your best friends thinking that they might never talk to you again? And so we wanted to create a place for people to go and be in a room with other people who they automatically knew were going through the same thing.
And it's so anybody can come and be there and be part of that family group. And since the dynamic has changed, and sometimes it's even more comfortable, and even when you're talking about that struggle of just you coming on the camera, if you can't do it, then what's the excuse for everybody else? Has got that kind of excuse too. They don't want to come on camera. They don't want to be there.
Oh, I vehemently did not want to be on camera. I thought I was going to vomit, go in my pants. My ears were ringing. My throat was dry. It was absolutely physiologically torture. And I kept making myself do it because this message is too important to not get out there.
It's very important. And I see the change in your comfort to do this, because in your soul that it's important to show up. And it's important to be there, and it's important to find people where they are so they can come to you and have a place to be. And it's just, even in with virtual reality now, people can show up at their avatars, the face to face. Really, that human experience sometimes is just so necessary. And you're in one part of the country, I'm in another. I could never show up if I wasn't able to attend on Zoom. I couldn't be there, and who can? And it's just such important for people to see that.
Who wants to eat rubber chicken and sit in a banquet table for 3 days, right? Really, it's Zoom definitely revolutionized everybody's life and business, but particularly, I think, surprised us in the recovery community that it could work and does still work, right? Because so much of the programs are in person traditionally, but the face of addiction has already changed. Addiction doesn't look like what addiction looked like 100 years ago. We have to keep up with the times.
Oh, 100%. And you got to meet people where they're at, and you have newer generations. Addiction is never going to go away. It's always going to be there. And so society it's going to grow with society, and society gets younger. What do people use? As that new generation comes in, they're on their phones, they're online, they're in the virtual space, they're comfortable there. And if you take that away from them, now they're going to fight with that. So now they have the option to travel to you and be there. But as a speaker or a podcaster, as a business person, it's, gosh, you know what? I don't want to be with all these people. I don't want to be on the flight. I don't want to smell the toilet in the back of the plane. I don't want to be in the convention area, just stuck with all these people, just thousands of people who want to be your best friend and get to know you, throw all their business cards at you, and you're just like, whoa, hey, how about hello? How about
what's your name?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Nicole. How are you? And I've done that to people. They've their own business. Hey, you need my business. Hi, my name's Nicole. Have we met before?
Yeah.
No. And it's, can you talk to me? Or you see these little cliques in these places that kind of walk together, and they don't want to talk to other business people. And it's a shame, because you're losing that new business, and they think, oh, people will come to us. But you really get to meet people. And that was my past in business, is really seeing and watching people. And security, law enforcement, it's a very voyeuristic business. I watch people. I see their tonality. I see their changes. I see how it affects them. I see their crutches and in life, or the shame of being there. Oh my God, I have to talk to somebody. I don't have a problem talking to anybody. It's trying to articulate it the way that people will listen. And I don't want to talk at my audience. I want to talk to my audience. And as these stages grow, it gives me the ability to have a smaller community that can thrive into a larger community, or keep the community where I want it. I don't have that forced on me, and paying all those bills to travel. And then what did you do it for? Did I get
like I
anything
said,
out of
when you
it?
get there, you're sitting at uncomfortable chairs, eating rubber chicken, talking to somebody that you don't want to talk to. One thing I wanted to circle back to is the other thing that we came up with besides Recovery Comes Home family group or lodge family group was Recovery Comes Home. And that brings recovery to you in the privacy of your own home. It is a year-long program that we made specifically for people who have been through the treatment ringer or don't want to go through the treatment ringer. For people who aren't aware, you're in your normal living environment, something happens, you get carted off to treatment that looks like a hospital because it is a medical setting. So you're totally out of your element. You're there for 28 days, out of which you maybe have heard the last 14, if that. And then you go back home. 80% of people go back home. 20% come to a facility like ours, which is a recovery residence community in person. And the 80% go back home. So we're after that 80% that go back home because they will fail without help. And for some people, treatment is not the answer. Everything isn't a nail.
It's not.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to evolve given the new technology we have, given the fact that I can take something that is the size of my phone, it's a breathalyzer, it has facial recognition software. I text you and I say, okay, Nicole, you got 45 minutes to breathalyze. And I expect at the end of 45 minutes, I'll have the video. If I don't have the video, we have a problem.
But this technology is in people's pockets, and it gives you the ability to catch people where they're at, whether they're with you or somewhere else. You can call them, you can contact them, you can reach out to them. And what a great tool this is to utilize to say, hey, maybe you need to come back, or maybe you're doing okay. But people can contact you, they can have that FaceTime, they can have that recognition, and you don't have to think, what are they doing over there? What's going on in their mind? I haven't heard from this person. They haven't checked in, or, but just testing the waters and knowing too on the recovery as a family member, knowing that we have these tools and you have the ability to utilize this and to work with someone. And that's another thing, is the ability to just take it with you, put it in your pocket. And once somebody trusts you and they trust the Recovery Comes Home program and procedures, they know that you're available to them and other places too. And that's such a comfort to say, hey, I've got you in my back pocket, really.
And also, I'm glad you brought up the families, because Recovery Comes Home is about connecting families impacted by addiction as they heal together. We believe this is a family disease and it is treated as such. We do not treat one person and leave the rest of the family out. We include everybody that will participate. Again, we can't make people participate. We can only make it available. But we strongly suggest that they participate because they'll have the greatest dividends at the end.
That's true, because if the family's not part of it, the family's part of your business. The family watches you grab your briefcase, get in the car, and drive away. The family sees you come back home. The family goes with you on vacation. When COVID hit, the family saw the problem, and that's just it. Nobody looks at the main picture. And so if you want to support someone in business, you have to be able to support them at home. And who does that? That's your family's role. And bringing that in for them to say, hey, we can bring this online. You can offer it in person, but you can also bring this online to talk to the families, to meet with the families. And sometimes it's just, gosh, I need to talk to somebody or vent or understand what's going on, because I've been there through that whole cycle. And all of a sudden, if it's a place like yours or a facility like a hospital, you're not allowed to be there. You're not allowed to be part of that. And sometimes family members don't want you to at first, but they want to be able to connect with you. And what a better way to find that connection in a home space and to bring that into the home. It just
and
makes
to work
it so
on
much
everybody
easier.
in the family, because everybody has issues in the family. And one thing that we found through this is the fastest growing population of people that are addicted are business professionals, C-suites, CEOs, first responders, huge first responders. People are using drugs and alcohol and problem behaviors to cope in levels we've never seen before.
Oh gosh, yeah. And it's just so it's readily available, but people find ways to incorporate it in there. Business
Business, I
person,
mean,
I see it. Oh
professionals
yeah.
and executives, like
Yeah.
where you would think guys got it together because he's making 8 figures and he's putting food on the table and the kids both drive nice cars and he doesn't know them from Adam.
And they don't know him. They're all addicted in their own way. And I've seen it even through law enforcement. I see it in business too. You take those roles on, you do what you know, you follow that pattern, and they will continue to do that. And when you talk about first responders and people out there, you're in that business of constantly going and having to be the strong person. And there's no connection at home. And unfortunately, so many people at home, they don't understand, they don't want to understand, but the first responders don't want to share any information either. So you have it from both sides and there's no connection. So what do you connect to? You connect to what you're in that moment, your adrenaline's going. And nowadays you have all these influencers and businessmen. It's 24/7, 365 days. You're global. You have to be at the beck and call. Nobody can, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, remember when we didn't have lights and the sun went down and guess what you got to do? You went to bed.
Right.
So
Where
your
were you
kerosene
before?
lamp
Yeah.
burn out. Seriously, like to think about in 100 years how far we've come, and to think that addiction is any different. Addiction evolved along with everything else. It is on steroids now, and it's pouring through our southern border.
Oh gosh, it is. It's just coming in. It's readily available. It's readily acceptable. You have places in
Accessible,
San Francisco where they're handing out,
available.
yeah,
Yep.
they're handing out alcohol to everybody. Hey, you want a drink? Go be a bum. You
You
can
can
get
get a
me.
free joint for getting a jab.
Yeah, 100%. It's where is this coming to? And there's so much, but yet here's the solution. There's 101 pain points with this, but the important factor and what I love about what you do is you're so comfortable in your conversation. You're so welcoming and you're so thoughtful. It's amazing because you're easy to talk to. And I don't feel like, oh, I'm talking to a shrink. I feel like I'm talking to a person one to one. And whether we're talking about business or we're talking about recovery, it's really that connection that you can develop. And like you said earlier, the frequency is there. That's the most important point. As long as you put that intention out there, you have that frequency and you're soul aligned in what you do and the people that you do business with, the people that you work with.
Where there's breath, there's hope. I believe that. I believe that I want to be a better person every day. And I think that other people want to be better people every day. Stuff, traumas, dramas just get in their way. So we need to shine them off a little bit. Remove some of that dross.
Right.
Some more than others. Nobody in particular, Nicole. I mean,
hey, I know. And that's just it. You come a little rough and there's a life that you have and there's a life that you lead and there's okay, here it is again, and it brings it back to the family, brings it back to the business. Hey, your family knows you in a certain aspect and they get to know you. And when you open up to this, there's changes that are going to be made. They're not always happy with it, but people in business aren't either. And I think that's so important, watching people in business bring that change and bring that change into their business, and they see a difference in their financials. They see a difference in profit. They see a difference when they are healthy and when they are healing and rehab, recovery. Anything that you do, if you do it 100% and you bring those people around you, you know what? You're the 5 people that you hang around.
And I would also add, think outside of the box with your pain point. You might be in a completely different business than I'm in. You can't relate to anything that I said regarding recovery, but you can relate to having a pain point in your business. And if you just go about it the way you always have gone about it, you're going to get what you always got. Sometimes you need to, like Nicole's saying, get a fresh pair of eyes or make your eyes fresh, right? And look at it in a different perspective. How would I feel if I was consuming this product? not selling.
100%. 100%. You are your brand. You are your business.
Mhm.
And if you're frustrated with how your business is doing, if you're frustrated with how your family is relating to you, and it's becoming such a stress point, what can you change? Do you have to go through that dark night of the soul? Is there some recovery you have to do? But there's always a point, a pain point on a spiritual level to heal and move and grow. And that's the part of it, is that helps your business. So it's exponential, really. It's
It is
almost hard to define and put into statistics the difference of how your business is when you take your life back. And you need to have a vulnerable point, which is such a pain point. The sabotage is a pain point. The way that you talk to people, or the groups of people that you're in with, you are a reflection of everybody around you. And if you're not happy when you're with a group of people, whether it's networking or it's business or it's home life, that is a reflection of where you're at in life. And I
Yeah,
was
what does
talking
it
to
say
somebody in
about
business.
you?
Yeah, 100%. Talking to somebody on another podcast, a business mentor of mine, and it's really, how do you show up on Zoom? And if you're that messed up, and we talked about my favorite book, and this brings me to something because we're coming to a close, I'm going to let you have the last few words. But it's really, when Chuck asked me what was my favorite book, and it is really The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Because if you can't lead yourself, if you can't lead your troop, if you cannot see ahead psychologically where the enemy is at and where the enemy's been, you cannot show up for yourself and you cannot succeed. So whether the enemy is within or it's another business, it's a reflection of where you're at. So if you can't show up on Zoom in a breakout room, when that's a pain point for you and you're really jealous, what are you jealous of? Do you know that person? Do you understand their business? How much experience do they have? How much coaching have they had? How many times have they gone to a network meeting? And how do they get to know these people? They get to know and trust them, and you have to know and trust yourself and show up. Don't let that take your soul away. It's just 5 minutes. You can always turn on your camera, take a breath, but show up. You don't have to go again. You're the adult. You get to turn it
Yeah,
off. And that's
you get
what's
to
great about
decide.
the person.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so easy now online because you can check stuff out and see where you want to be. And that's perfect. So I'll let you have the last words here on how recovery comes home helps that online pain point with people and entrepreneurs.
I think particularly the executives, professionals, sports figures, and those that are in a higher socioeconomic class really would benefit, because they have a hard time showing their face in any kind of treatment center or a recovery house like mine. So those people for sure. And addiction crosses all lines. It is no respecter of persons. You can be young or old or fat or gay or straight or white or gray. It really affects everybody across the board. And I really think that it's better to embrace all of the options that we have. Now, we used to only have one option. And it was like I said, everything is not a nail. We need different tools and we need different people. I'd really love people in their pain points to start opening their mouths and using their voices.
100%. And
because that's the only way they'll get relief, right?
100%. And that's why it's so important for me to bring you on here, for people to find their voice and to speak about their truth, or the truth of where they're at, what that pain point is on a soulful level, or an issue that they're having that they just might not see. And they can talk to someone like you, Adrienne, and find a solution for that. And that's what we bring on the Pain Point podcast, is really bringing a solution to whatever it is online that's really going to affect you, your business, and also your home life. And to share that, because yeah, you can't know unless you talk to somebody. It's in here, whatever's in here, and it's really knowing the mind and who you are. And that's what is so important. And whatever you do, however you do your business, you can bring it everywhere and you can bring it with you. So be online, know that you can be successful online and find solutions with the pain point. And I will have all the information about you because you're so wonderful. People will find you. And I am so glad you're doing a podcast because that's great because they can find more about you. And
check it out, Recovery Comes Home Radio.
100%. And they can hear those journeys and those stories of what people had to go through and how they healed with it. Thank you so much for being here, Adrienne.
Thank you for having me, Nicole. It's been a pleasure as always.
The real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially free so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club, revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.